Brainwashing in Society, written and directed by Thomas Zelte using videoscribe. For stage 2, you'd want to turn your volume up. For my last video talking about manipulation in advertising and exploring the beginning of advertising throughout the decades and eventually explaining about what differences tactics creatives use to manipulate audiences, I looked into psychology, tactics, and even experiments proving humans susceptible to manipulation through tactics advertisers use. My criteria is simple: interview someone in the advertising industry and someone who is awesome at their job, and most importantly, someone who has done awesome campaigns. This is Corey. He works for McCain and is a creative designer who has created leading campaigns for Melbourne University, Cotties, and L'Oreal. This was a moment all my preparation and understanding on manipulation and how it is used to advertise to the consumers were completely and utterly shut down. After only interviewing Corey for 3 minutes, my entire topic was shut down in a matter of seconds. But what if it wasn't completely shut down? Corey explained why he knows advertisers don't manipulate, and that's because briefs are handed down by multiple executives and have gone through multiple different regulations and laws. Usually creatives get one truth, one real quality, and the product is offering, which struck me off. We know of manipulation and we know of statistics and tactics, but why is it creative so certain there is no manipulation? Then it struck me. What if instead of manipulation we are all brainwashed into believing the truth, or believing our own ethics as a guidance which have been fed to us from the beginning? What if our own biology and learning has brainwashed us? Throughout the interview with Corey, any question that involved consumers being manipulated by advertisers was shut down. Question after question, attempt after attempt to persuade someone who works in the industry but also who does advertising and has been in controversial campaigns that they are manipulating consumers through their own image. You see, advertisers create ads after ethical values and through their own experiences to try promote, sell, or even teach consumers about a product or service. Creators dictate how audience perceives something or a product, which can lead to manipulation. But why was Corey stating it wasn't? You see, when you're creating something that you are passionate about, chances are you want it to look better, do better, and when you're passionate about something, chances are you would work harder and even express your own ethics and ideas within the idea. It's a simple analogy of find something you love to do and you won't be walking up to go to work rather than you'll be waking up to have fun. Like Steve Jobs of Apple states, people with passion can change the world for the better. So how does this aid in us being brainwashed from the start? Why does it continue to happen? Well, let me ask you a question before we start. Do you think biology dictates who we are, or is it through learning? Is it biology or environmental learning? Is it caused by nature or nurture? Well, really, it's both. You'll find that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are the result of interactions between biological factors and environmental or cultural factors. Research indicates that children whose caretakers express warmth and are predictable responsive tend to form a secure attachment marked by a long list of positive traits. They have a high level of self-esteem, confidence, trust, emotional stability, impulse control, and resiliency. Whilst with cold, unpredictable, and even abusive parents, children can be fearful, suspicious, withdrawn, impulsive, clingy, and aggressive, depending on the specific detrimental parenting behaviors they experience. This is an environmental factor where we are shaped by what's around us. But you see, biology plays a massive role as well. Plant a tree in a dark room with the light shining through the crack and the plant will grow towards the light. Same goes with humans, yet in ways you wouldn't expect it, such as according to biologists from Darwin Corporation, has been more important than competition in humanity's evolution success. Compassion is the reason for both the human race's survival and its ability to continue to thrive as a species. Darwin also states that as the human race evolved from small tribes into large civilizations, concerns about the well-being of others extended to include not just strangers but all sentient beings. Why is this? Well, it's as simple in our nature to identify with family, clan, country, city, sports team. We are naturally gregarious animals quite simply because it is in our genes. Humans' innate behavior to stick with one another and to listen to one another is biology, and rules we come up with to combat unfairness and keep the society safe is environmental. But when does it become brainwashing and not for the greater good? Well, what if I told you brainwashing was already part of our society and a part of our day-to-day lives? What is brainwashing really? Well, 1, forcible indoctrination to induce someone to give up basic political, social, or religious beliefs and attitudes and to accept contrasting regimented ideas. 2, persuasion by propaganda or salesmanship. And let's also say that cultural imprinting is the exact same as brainwashing for this argument. We are encouraged in schools to stand in reverence and pledge allegiance to the flag before we even taught why we owe our allegiance to this first place. We are taught early on in our schooling that certain drugs are bad, but are not told why they are bad. Even in the media, we're often presented with a biased view of events, and they are often put through an ideological filter, and rather than presenting only facts, the opinions of the reporters are reporting along with it. However, though there are only mild brainwashing examples, whilst bigger brainwashing examples could be introduction of bacon. Yes, bacon. You see, the first known mass brainwashing experiment using television was carried out in the 1920s to promote an unpopular pork product, bacon. They hired doctors to endorse and promote it as a healthy, beneficial, and ideal for your morning meal. Clearly, it worked very well because everyone knows that eating bacon for breakfast is what you do. Advertisers sell us the one idea, which Corey states in an interview, but is what you create to promote that one idea and how you do it, which can inevitably shape consumers' minds and manipulate them and ultimately brainwash people with false information. Lies which are spread from person to person, group to group, and even city to city. The problem arises where people are brainwashed into mindset and how quickly one's mind can adjust and change after being told what to do. My interviewer Corey and his partner Chesney summed it up pretty well. They created a campaign for cotties which placed them under the chopping board, you might say. The campaign is all about kids and enjoying themselves and playing with one another, and having cordial to refresh themselves. So the campaign was called Boys vs. Girls. Simple and effective. Except for before it launched, it was targeted with disregard and disgust. It was said it gender discriminated and it was negative in every way, shape and form, said any review on any social media. Except when it launched, consumers understood the message and they were ultimately brainwashed into another idea. It reminds me about the point that I described in my last video about the Milgram experiment and how authorities hold power over people. In this case, negative responses were being exclaimed before any research was put into it. Then when it was launched by powerful companies such as Cotties, consumers lightened up and agreed it was a good campaign. Why was this? Corey stated that people were too quick to judge and people weren't ready to understand. Is it because of pride? Well, pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16-18. This happens because creatives don't understand that they brainwash themselves, and thus brainwash the consumers after. Creative can work on a project, look at the same 5 words over and over for months at a time, and after reading it a few times can get desensitized to the message and its power. Corey summed it up perfectly. We sometimes forget that we have the power to communicate to millions of people. We tend to believe one another, tend to trust our friends, what they say, and so on. We continue a loop through the word of mouth, through our social media posts till everyone brainwashed everyone. We have been told not through thousands and thousands of years to living together to find comfort in one another, to being blatantly brainwashed into believing things through social media or through advertisement. We are all brainwashed and we continually help perpetuate a false idea which we slowly embed into our biology. We have been taught that bacon is an incredible breakfast food from an early age. Maybe one day we will depend on eating bacon in the morning or we'll die. Same goes with advertisement, we'll learn from them. But now we're almost at the end of my argument, and what if I flipped it on its head and say that the advertising industry are actually doing good? Corey stated that creatives nowadays want to create something that would change and help the world. What if they're brainwashing us into a positive aspect, into positive society? It allows society to become informed with new ideas and understand environmental problems, social changes, gay rights, and inspiring to change the mind. Next time we'll talk about society and the greater advantages of brains manipulation.